Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And you know what? We're going to talk about the box office in 2019.
Yeah.
The admissions were down, but the revenue was up.
Which means one thing, they jacked the prices on the tickets.
They jacked the prices on the tickets, and this is a very Disney way of doing things, because Disney definitely dominated.
Disney definitely dominated
the box office. They did. They had like $7 billion movies, not a $7 billion movie, but $7 billion movies. But the problem is, I don't think they're going to have that next year.
No, and it's also, did they,
Did they really?
Yeah, so, but yeah, either way, the movie theater attendance admissions are down like 4.6%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually quite a bit. And it just is a trend. I think people are just getting burned out of the box office.
Yeah, I think they are. And I think, beyond that, with the streaming services with Netflix, you're getting better movies at home. You can watch them at home. Most people have a big screen TV and surround sound and all that at home.
All the popcorn you want.
All the popcorn you want. You don't have to deal with people crying unless you're having a fight at your house or something. The floor's not sticky unless you're...
Yeah, that's right.
Unless you're watching certain kinds of movies.
Or you spilled something on the floor.
Or you spilled soda on the floor watching kids' movies.
Yeah, spilled soda on the floor. That's what it is.
So we're going to talk about that in this episode. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We're at about 90,000. We're like 50 away from 90,000 subs.
I know, but we're just only 10,000 away from 100,000. I don't understand what happened. It's like, we're going, and then it's like,
Everybody stopped caring about Star Wars as well.
Well, I mean, I don't want to just talk about Star Wars too. I'm tired of talking about Star Wars as well. So,
but I think Star Wars is going to come up in this conversation.
Well, it is, and I know it's coming up in another video we're doing for good reasons.
We are going to talk about for good reasons. So this comes from Variety. U.S. movie admissions plunge 4.6 in 2019 amid box office decline. Box office decline. Yes, the money is up, but they're getting more blood out of the existing rocks. Yeah. They're not getting new rocks. The rocks are...
They're getting less rocks. They're getting fewer rocks.
All right. So should I throw some numbers at people?
You go for it.
Okay, here's the number talk. U.S. movie admissions slid 4.6% last year to 1.24 billion, the second lowest admissions number during the current century.
Oh.
The National Association of Theater Owners has reported. North American box office for the year declined 4.1% to 11.4 billion. 7 of that is probably Disney's.
Mm-hmm.
NATO said on Friday that figure was in line with the estimate released at the end of the year by box office tracker ComScore. The decline came in spite of Disney's Avengers Endgame, generating $850 million domestic, second only to the $936 million recorded by 2015's The Force Awakens. They're all Disney movies: Lion King, Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, and Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Whether or not the ticket sales were actual people, that's still up for debate.
Yeah, now this is what's interesting. Overall ticket sales, we're not talking dollars, we're talking number of tickets sold, peaked in 2002 with 1.57 billion, then declined to 1.52 billion in 2003 and 1.48 billion in 2004. Those are still the highest admissions years over the past 3 decades. Admissions in 2017 were 1.2 billion. This is before the internet. This is before YouTube. This is before Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Netflix was around for some of those numbers, but yes.
Were they? I think they were. I think they came in like, what was it, like 2007?
You said 2017.
2017. Yeah.
But I mean, they know they were around for it was probably about 2006 or 7.
Yeah. So what's going on is they're charging more per ticket. Anybody who's been to the movie theater lately, and we've talked about this before. We keep joking about the dollar theater that now costs almost as much as a regular theater.
Well, the national average ticket price is $9.16.
Okay, so the ticket prices went up, and they actually went up in the fourth quarter, which we knows that too.
Yeah.
We knows that when all the big releases were supposed to come out, that they jacked the ticket prices up. The one theater that we go to, I think it's an AMC, and their matinee prices were usually like $4.99 or $5.99. They had jumped up to like $7.99.
Is it that much for a matinee?
I think so. Yeah, except on Tuesdays.
I mean, prices here, of course, are a little bit less, and then I don't know if they're rolling 3D into that or what, but it's getting to be like $10 a ticket. You're talking like for a family of 4 with popcorn and everything else, you're talking like $60 to go to a movie. $50-$60, and it's like, you know, not only have the gas and everything else, and it's honestly not worth it. It really isn't. It's gotten to the place that it is no longer worth it for people to go to the films.
Yeah, so this is these are some of the comments. That's just it. People are saying they're not going as often as they used to. The couple of things: the price and the content.
Yeah, I'm just so tired of being like, it's another blockbuster next month, another Disney blockbuster next month, another Disney blockbuster. It's like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, they said, what happened? The lure of the mega hit promoters have become the green lighters. Are the good films being made? Yeah, but far fewer of them make it to our indie theater or local multiplex. This guy says such poor research. The 2018 box office was inflated by an unsustainable movie pass stimulus. Well, that's true. A lot of these places had the all-you-can-watch movie pass or whatever that was responsible for 5% of all ticket sales for the first 6 months of 2018. Then Variety compares 2019 to 2018. I'm sure if a company was offering one free fast food meal every day for $9.99 monthly subscription, fast food would see a monster rise in business. Well, that's probably true because I know the movie pass thing was kind of an issue, but it also kind of cheapens the movie experience, doesn't it? I mean, when you can get Netflix for the cost of one movie ticket for one person, you know, it makes it look like a really bad deal.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I said, when you're paying $40 for tickets for a family of four, not to mention the popcorn and everything else, of course people are going to less movies because you can't afford to go to all those movies, you know?
Yeah. They said the biggest drop off was in our demographic, age 35 to 44. Basically, we're stopping going to the movies.
I think a lot of us are just tired of the BS.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people I think our demographic are just like, we're just kind of getting jaded about the agenda-driven things and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, they're, again, Deadline's blaming streaming. They're blaming streaming for it, and I know a lot of the big movies now, like Irishman and Marriage Story, they're going on streaming first, on Netflix first, and yeah, it doesn't make a very good case to go spend $10 a pop and then have to drive and then have to possibly put up with noise and find a babysitter, pet sitter, whatever. The reason
the prices keep going up is because the studios demand it. Like, I know Disney is making these ridiculous percentage, you know, of the take from these theaters, so they have to raise their prices because they're not making any money otherwise because the theaters are demanding more and more money per ticket. Well, good luck with that because less people are going because they're tired of you gouging us. And Disney, you are especially notorious for this.
Well, okay, that's what I want to talk about because the box office was propped up this year by a bunch of Disney hits. They're not going to have those next year.
Nope. Not
anywhere close to it. And a lot of people are like, this is not a good sign because they basically shot the load this year.
I wouldn't if I'd used shot the load in regards
I'm talking
to
about
Mickey
a gun.
Mouse.
I'm talking about a gun.
Oh, now you're using guns with
a squirt gun.
Okay.
A Nerf squirt gun.
Okay.
The one that shoots the water and the slime at the same time.
You nerfed the wad. Already.
You nerfed the wad, yes. They nerfed the wad. Well, because look, they had all their big hits. They had Endgame. They had the last Star Wars. Well, that's a whole nother video. The last Star Wars and the Skywalker saga. They had a Frozen sequel. We had remakes of the most popular 90s movies, Aladdin, Lion King.
Toy Story 4. They tried Dumbo and that didn't work very well for them.
Nobody talks about Dumbo. We don't talk about Dumbo.
We don't talk about that one.
But they're saying that next year is going to be a problem because this year was peak Disney. And next year, they're not going to have all these hits.
So they're going to have some good movies coming out, but they're not going to probably reach the numbers that we saw previously.
Yeah, nothing compared to Endgame, nothing compared to Lion King. So now the question is, can Disney or any other studio ever replicate this year? Barring mass consolidation or a reinvention of the theatrical experience, most experts believe Disney's 2019 is the high watermark for theaters. Clearly, there was an alignment of stars across all of our brands. Movies don't get to $1 billion without being good.
Well, they can, but that's another story.
This is coming from Disney. They can.
They can if you block out every other movie in 80 or 90% of the theaters in other countries. South Korea. You know?
Oh, yeah, was that Frozen where they blocked out?
Yeah, they blocked out. Yeah, you block out the competition. You can make $1 billion when you demand more of a cut from the movie theaters, so they can't carry any of your movies. You can break $1 billion when there's a lot of ticket sales for seats that suddenly have nobody sitting in them. There's lots of ways to break $1 billion for movies without having a good movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's going to be hard to duplicate this year, says Disney distribution chief Kathleen Taft, but I'm an eternal optimist.
Well,
you better be. If you work for Disney, you have to be. Analyst Eric Handler is not as optimistic. It was the perfect storm for Disney and an embarrassment of riches. Next year is going to be tough in terms of comparison.
It is.
In 2020, there's no Star Wars. The franchise is being reset.
We're going to talk about that in another video.
That's a whole nother video. 1 live-action remake instead of 3. An unproven Marvel pick, Black Widow and Eternals. I think Black Widow will do okay. I'm not convinced Eternals is going to do
I haven't seen enough Eternals to know, but I don't know.
Pixar has 2 original films. They have, Onward is the one which looks like a DreamWorks, and Soul. Soul I'm optimistic about. That's all I'm going to say. Even with Disney's steroid-fueled performance, that implies that they're cheating.
Well, I'm just saying.
Overall domestic revenue slipped an estimated 4.4% from 2018's all-time high. Some people say it's because of the Movie Pass thing. Numerous franchise films from rival studios collapsed. Okay, this is not fair. Including Charlie's Angels, yes, it was a bomb. Terminator Dark Fate, yes, a bomb. And Warner Brothers' Godzilla?
Stop throwing Godzilla in there. Because you know what? That's a load of crap. Because Godzilla was actually really, 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 really good. It was just these reviewers were like, the same ones you'd expect, were like, well, it's not high enough brow for me. The one even said so. He said, "This is, I pride myself on having better taste than this because, it's Godzilla." And other people were like, well, there needed more human dynamic. There were already enough human dynamic. It worked out perfectly. It was a really good movie. I still can't wrap my head around people didn't like that one at all. I can't understand it
I thought it was,
at all.
I thought it was really good. It's like if people they've never seen a Godzilla movie before because this is what a Godzilla
Even
movie
comparatively speaking, it didn't bomb as bad as Charlie's Angels or Dark Fate.
So that's kind of weird they threw that in there. I mean, it didn't do fantastic. I think off the top of my head, I want to say it did like 40 or 50 million opening weekend, but it did well enough on Blu-ray sales and overseas to warrant Toho giving them more leeway. I guess Toho was very happy with it.
But I'm just saying, it's like, it's like, yeah, Dark Fate and Charlie's Angels bombed. But King of the Monsters didn't perform as well as it should have, but I wouldn't put it in the same category as them. But,
Yeah, so here we have Sony's Tom Rothman, whose studio made a notable comeback in 2019 with Jumanji, Spider-Man, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I've heard really good things about and I want to see it. He says the death of originality has been greatly exaggerated because we keep talking about the remakes and the sequels.
The death of originality has not been highly exaggerated. I'm gonna call you out on that one too, because maybe not with other studios. But with Disney, it seems to be. I'm just saying.
But they're basically saying, like, you have something like Joker that did really, really well, and It Chapter 2, which did well. But again, Joker's basically a Batman spinoff, right? Even though it's not anything like the comic books, and it was a remake. So I don't think they're going to have any big movies next year. They have Top Gun Maverick and Quiet Place 2.
Well, I know Squid King's excited about Quiet Place 2, but I mean, Top Gun Maverick might do okay. I have no desire to see that. It's not really my thing, but, it could do well.
Yeah, so, I don't know what they have next year. They have, like, what, Mulan and...
There's Mulan, Jungle Cruise is next year. I want to see that. I don't even know. There's a list of them up. I don't really have them at the top of my head. Frankly, I don't really care. Is it wrong? I just don't care.
Yeah, well, it's pretty sad when we've gotten to the point where we talk about the box office. The box office did $11 billion, and you realize, like, so much of that was Disney.
Well, that's the domestic box office.
Yeah, domestic box office. But still, it's like... So, yeah, I mean, people are like, why are you talking about Disney all the time? Because they own freaking everything.
Yeah.
And if Disney doesn't do well next year, the box office is not going to do well next year because... Well,
it might pick up in the fact that people aren't going to have one of these every other month or every month.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like maybe they don't feel like they have to go, and it doesn't taint them against going. You know what I mean? Because after a while, you're just like, I don't want to give Disney more money. It's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And I like Disney and give them a lot of my money. Let's put it that way. It just got another Disney movie, another Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And, it's like, come on, another remake. I think people just got, tired of it. So maybe next year, if there's more exciting things or some newer things, that maybe the people will go.
Maybe. I'm going to be really curious to see what happens. Now, Black Widow, I think, will do okay. But I think Eternals is kind of ushering in Phase 4. And I don't know how it's going to do because a lot of people were like, well, Endgame was the end of Marvel for us.
To me, it seems like with Eternals, it seems more and more like, how they did, like, the Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker was like a movie by committee. Yeah. I feel like that's what Eternals is becoming.
Yeah. Like, we need another superhero team. What haven't we strip mined yet?
Well, not just that. I think it's about, because there's all this push out there from the media and from Twitter and those places that it has to be diverse. Not that there's anything against diversity, but now that they're already starting to see a trend that they're pushing so much that is it going to be about a good story or is it going to be about diversity? And that's what I'm worried about, because if it's a good story that happens to be diverse, that's great. If it's just a diversity play that's made by committee, it's not going to do well. I'm just calling it now. It's not. So
we will see. I don't really have super high hopes for next year, but I think it's just more and more the good stuff is going to be on streaming. I know we're watching more on Netflix and stuff now and the best Star Wars is on Disney Plus. It's not even in the theater. So. All right, we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.